Welcome back to Adding Sugar to Lemonade podcast, and let's get into today's episode. I recently made a video where I shared some books that have helped me change my mindset and eventually help me make small, manageable changes in my day-to-day actions that are now part of my being. And it's an ongoing process. I'm a recovering multitasker. It's something that took me time to realize that my understanding of multitasking was not correct really. We cannot do more than one thing at a time because it is humanly impossible to do. What we do in the name of multitasking is we do one thing and leave that to do something else, switching back and forth between things. And while there are tasks where the results does not suffer when you keep bouncing between things, others not so much. And so as writers, we think we can multitask, but can we though? Today we live on social media. It's not uncommon to share our work and wins on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, share about the 40 tabs open on our laptop, working on 5 different projects at the same time. I was this person a few years back. Sometimes it feels like everyone is busy and we even take pride in being busy, which we understand as that people are getting things done, right? Not necessarily. We have to stop equating being busy with being effective. We talk about the thousands of words we wrote today, but never share how many we deleted because it didn't fit the story. In my humble opinion, 2 things differentiate a busy person from an effective one. The first one is they have a very strong understanding of why behind everything they do. Why do we want to write this book? Because writing a book is a hard thing and it doesn't always guarantee monetary returns. So why do you want to go on this path? You have to have a clear reason that will keep you going on days when you want to quit and on days when you don't see the success you want. And the second is that they have some habits that get them the results. And today I want to talk about these habits and as writers, what these habits look like for us. The first habit you'll find common in effective writers is practice. Most writers I know write when they need to make sense of the things happening around them. They write essays and short stories and flash fictions and long form stories. They work on the same piece of writing for months, if not years, and then they file it away. These pieces of work might never see the light of day. It's not for everyone's eyes, it's just for them. Maybe years down the line, they may take it out, brush it up, and publish it, but for the most part, they write a lot of pieces just for themselves. Like painters have sketchbooks, I have a small notebook of dialogues. This is not my original idea. I don't know where I heard about it, but I started keeping a notebook of dialogues back in 2016. I would write in it when I was in public places and overheard people around me going about their business and talking and making general conversations. There are many entries. There is one about a conversation between a wedding planner and the father of a bride. Another one between a German businessman and God knows who was on the other side of the phone. The one-sided conversation was interesting to say the least. And then there is an entry about a hilarious conversation between 2 fishermen on the piers of San Francisco. There are so many entries. The point is that these small bits of writing help me in writing dialogues in my own stories. Not every entry in here will ever be in my novels, but it is a mine of ideas and references to what natural dialogues sound like. But often I see, especially new writers and young writers, they want to publish everything they write. And the reason I can see this and spot it is because I was this way when I started writing. It's natural to feel excited about the things we want to write and then have the world read it and be wowed by it. But there is so much value in writing without putting the pressure on ourselves to have everything published. Write small pieces of work or entire novels in the name of practice. Create a portfolio of sorts of the different kinds of writing and have that just for yourself. And with every passing year, you'll see how much you have grown as a writer. There is so much joy to see how far we've come as a writer. The next habit is prioritize. Yes, this one might be a no-brainer, but you'd be surprised how often we set wrong priorities. We have all been there, prioritizing everything and everyone else, but the one thing that is truly important to us, our writing. In an ideal world, you'll have all the time to work on your book, your writing projects. But we don't live in an ideal world. There are a million things that need to happen. School, work, office, family. But if we truly want to write and work on our book, we have to prioritize it. We may not always be able to keep our writing in the forefront, but it has to be on our priority list. How we make time for it will be very different during the different phases of our life. I usually try to make at least 2 uninterrupted hours to work on my book. But right now, this week, I've been working in 10 minutes time slots. And in that time, I'm sometimes able to get a few paragraphs done and sometimes just a few sentences. But I'm moving forward and that is important. But this is possible only because I have prioritized my writing. Set your intention for the day and work on your book. A while back, I wrote a post about how to achieve personal efficiency, and I think that explains this step in depth. So if you're interested, I'll leave the link to that post in the show notes. But to sum it up here, it is important to understand the difference between things that are important to us as writers versus those that are urgent, and that the two can be independent. Stephen Covey beautifully explains this in his book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He uses the Eisenhower matrix to help us understand how to identify tasks, and once you have, it is easy to prioritize where you want to spend your time. The next habit is to spend your time in the company of writers and authors you respect and admire. And this has become so much more accessible with social media. Tim Rohn says, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. You'll find me quoting this often because I genuinely believe this. It suggests that the 5 people you spend the most time with will shape who you are. It borrows from the law of averages, which is the theory that the average of any given situation will be the average of all outcomes. We interact with many people daily, but the few who are closest to us have the most impact on our way of thinking and our decisions. So if you want to upgrade your standard intellectually and physically, you need to reassess the company you're keeping. Sometimes we may not be lucky to have such positive people around us all the time. That's why I'm such a fan of audiobooks and podcasts. These have changed me as a person for the better. It's like having a professional life coach, writing coach, always available to you. I feel productive even when I'm doing the most mundane tasks like doing laundry or washing dishes because I always listen to my favorite podcasts and audiobooks. Explore the resources, internet, libraries, find writing groups, workshops, and see what works for you. Connect with people one-on-one or just let their work keep you company. There are so many things authors share in their work, on their social media, on their website. Why wouldn't we take that, learn from their experiences to shorten our journey or make it more meaningful? The next habit I'd say is that they believe that less is more. The idea has so many layers that we can talk about just this one thing all day long. But to cut to the chase, there is a lot we can take on our plate as writers, as authors, as indie authors. But we have to understand that less is more. The less you have on your plate, the more you can give to those tasks, to those writing projects. And this is something I'm constantly reminding myself. There are a lot of things that we can do in the name of productivity. Buy books after books, planners, paper planners, digital planners, writing courses, writing stationery, writing apps. But frankly, all you need is a paper and pen to write. The less you have, the less chances to get distracted. There is less you need to learn to operate, less decision fatigue, and that time can be used to work on our books. You need an idea and some time to explore that idea. That is it. And I've found that most writers and authors I know agree with this. And the last habit that's common in effective writers is they schedule breaks and celebrate their accomplishments. I'm not a machine. Have you ever said this to yourself or someone when you feel pressured? That's a sign that you need a break immediately, a break from everything in general. It's important to schedule breaks throughout the day to keep your energy levels high. It can be in the form of a short walk around your office or home if you are working from home, which most of us are in the given circumstances, or a tea break, a snack break, where you can walk away from your desk, your workstation, your office, even if it is for 5 minutes. I wish I had known the value of this a few years ago before I experienced burnout. That wasn't the best feeling to go through. So I have first-hand experience in what happens when you don't schedule breaks in your workday. This will look different for every writer. It has to, because no two writers have the same writing process, and so how we write, when we write, how long we write is going to be different. And so our breaks will look different. The point is that we step away from our work often to refuel ourselves. And this also ties in with honoring our accomplishments. I am a big believer in celebrating small successes while working towards a big goal. It keeps me motivated to keep working, keep going, even if the end result is not yet achieved. The joy is in the process, and for me, celebrating small milestone is what makes me excited about the process. And when you are enjoying the process, it doesn't matter how long it takes the book to be published. You are in it, marking each accomplishments and not waiting around for that one final moment and not get bitter or give up altogether. I hope you found some value in this episode. Like this video if you did. There are more to come, so subscribe. You'll also find the transcript to this podcast on my website, which is linked in the show notes below, and I'll see you in the next one.